I was amazed. Oh my God, I can't believe Trump won. Oh. What do you expect? Look, the reason Donald Trump won the election is really simple. People want to go into this long, deep dives into, geopolitics and policy decisions and numbers of, you know, financial data and the stock market and all this. Don't you get it? This is the United States of America, the most racist nation on earth. That's it. That's why Donald Trump won. Half of this nation is racist, a little bit over half. I wouldn't say probably 60%. That's it. It's just a racist nation. Profoundly racist since its inception. You didn't actually think a black Indian girl, a woman, was going to win the election, did you? Yeah, I mean, just there was a point in my mind where I was kind of trying to make myself believe that she had a chance. I thought she was, when she first, launched her candidacy, she was, it was more like an appointed thing from Biden when he quit, and she got the nomination. There was a lot of momentum, but then start looking at the numbers and stuff like that, and if it's close, there was no way she was gonna win. When you start looking at the numbers, how close it was, the weeks leading up to this, and then people, I saw a lot of people out there commentary saying, "Oh, Trump's rallies are, people are leaving and stuff like that." That means nothing. That means nothing. That means they're just tired going home. They already made up their mind. They're going to vote for this piece of shit no matter what. So you understand that the cult mentality, and there are a lot of people saying, "Well, how come a lot of Christian people are voting for this person? They're not good Christians." I beg to differ. If you look at history, the people who have committed the most prolific genocides and land theft in modern history are Christians, under the banner of Christianity, under the orders of the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, the main Christian Church. You understand that the educational, the intellectual level in the United States, by design, of the majority of the population, by design from the right wing, they started destroying the education system, more or less during the Reagan era, because they wanted the populace to not be able to think critically. So they don't educate them in philosophy and critical thinking and all that stuff. You see how hard they're fighting to destroy the education. One of the things Trump ran on was to abolish the education department. They're openly telling you that they want to make you and your children, especially your children, uneducated and stupid. And he openly said it. I love the poorly educated because they vote for idiots like him. He's not, he's not stupid. He's a master manipulator. But so if you look back at the track record of what the United States has done since its inception has been fascism, racism, exploitation, slavery, destruction or demonization of immigrants. And the funny part is, I always say this. I always say this is like the descendants of the invaders are now calling the descendants of the original rightful owners invaders. Isn't that something? Right? You know, that is a fucked up play, but it's working because they're going to go to their grave saying that this is their land. It's not. It was stolen. You know, they'll deny it. You know, we didn't steal it. You know. So back to people saying, well, how can they call themselves Christians? Christians have committed the worst atrocities since their inception. Number one, if you look at the, by prescription, if you look at the Bible, it's full of atrocities committed and ordered by its main character, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it. From the flood of committed genocide against the entire population, his creation, according to the mythology. Mood swing and decided to commit genocide against the humans that he, according to the mythology, created. But he told Noah, go ahead and build a boat, put 2 of each. And I'm just going to drown out everybody, babies, women, everything. See, it's from get-go. This is a vengeful, sociopathic, genocidal, mass-murdering character. The God character from the Bible. So, and if you look at the people, you know, it's homophobic. It's a homophobic book. Just look at the prescription for death and eternal damnation for homosexual people. Did it in Sodom and Gomorrah. Did it in the Leviticus gives prescriptions on how to, you know, to murder homosexuals. Paul says it that, you know, those who lay with man are not going to heaven, meaning they're going to hell. They're going to burn for eternity. So it's homophobic, violent rhetoric. It's misogynist. If you look at everything that it says about women in the Bible, just look at it. It's atrocity after misogyny, after, you know, trampling of women's rights, to the intergalactic rape of a Palestinian teenage girl, aka Mary, by this. It's rape because, you know, it's rape. It's a young teenage girl, according to what it says there. Here comes an angel or 2 angels, well, whatever it was, says, hey, by the way, you're going to, you know, my boss going to knock you up and you're going to have his kid. So you see, right there, we have a problem. So this thing about saying that Christianity is good has no basis in reality. It's a myth that Christians are good people. It's a myth, but because of being Christian, you know, don't get me wrong. I grew up in a Christian family. I went to church. I participated in the fanatical practices and religious rituals and myths and all that stuff until I grew up, and I grew out. I was like, what am I doing? You know, and you become educated and you find out where it all comes from. So, and that's not saying that Christian people are bad people inherently. I'm saying that Christianity in itself, from the prescription that it gives in the so-called Holy Scriptures, the Bible, whatever version you're trying to read, is inherently evil. So to answer the question is, why is it that Christians voted for this piece of shit? It's just, you know, he portrays, he embodies everything that this genocidal, narcissistic, mood-swinging God embodies. Misogynist, homophobic, racist, you know, completely fascistic, and look at it, look at it. He goes and goes into makes a bet with the devil. And he says, I bet devil says, yeah, your job loves you because you haven't touched him. Well, go ahead and touch his family and see if he worships you. Okay, go ahead, kill his kids and stuff like that. You'll see. He'll still worship me. What kind of animal does that? What kind of savage does that? Having power over somebody's life and allowing them to have his family murdered and tortured, them given disease, take all his money just so he can prove that this person that he owns, that he created, his son, is not going to hate him. I still worship him. That's sick. That's absolutely evil, nefarious. To allow if I'm a kid, somebody says, hey, your kid's happy because, he's got everything and you gave him everything. Why don't you let me kill his children and see if he still loves you? Huh? Who the hell would do that? So I'm trying to get to a place to understand that the path out of the darkness that we're in right now as a society, and I'm talking about society in the United States, mostly Western society, but mostly emphatically the United States of America, is to shed the chains of Christianity and all other religions, but especially Abrahamic religions, which are Judaic, Christianity, and Islam. They're horrendous in their abuse of power, in their mythologically prescribed torture of others and subjection and abjection of other people, and submitting people to abject, poverty, and this messianic concept of we got to kill everything so that we can usher in the Messiah, which is what the Jewish people are doing right now in Israel. Okay? That is part of their religion. They have to kill everyone in order to usher in their Messiah, because they don't recognize Jesus Christ as a Messiah. So you see the problem, the inherently evil belief system that we have been ensnared into because of this horrendous mythology that was taught to us. This is why these people continue to vote, because they say there's all kinds of excuses. God works in mysterious ways, the rest of the trash. Two, if you look in the Bible, which by the way is a compendium of plagiarized writings, plagiarized mythologies from Babylon, to Africa, namely Egyptians, the whole Jesus mythology. There is zero proof that there's the existence of a Jesus of Nazareth. Zero, absolutely. Where's the body? It's a direct plagiarization of the Horus mythology, complete with the donkey and the virgin birth and the whole nine yards. The Jewish people, the Hebrews, stole that from the Africans, from the Egyptians. The thing with the flood, they got that from the Babylonians. Wherever they went, they picked up, and we all do that. Humans do that. Wherever we go, we picked up a little bit from here, a little bit from here. Look at us now celebrating Christmas in the middle on the 25th of December, which is Saturnalia, which is a pagan Roman festival. If according to the Bible, they're going to follow their own mythology, Jesus wasn't born until after Passover or something like that. I'm not an expert in that. I know exactly that came from that. So if you analyze the entire thing, they all made it the hell up. All of it's made up. They made it all up. They picked up a little myth here, a little myth there, and then comes Constantine, saw the writing on the wall, saw that there was a cult being born. By the way, you see all these people, all that there was a grave that there was a big stone that got moved. In those days, according to their own writings, there were a lot of people claiming to have resuscitated. So resurrection was quite common those days. So going back to Constantine, when he decided to say, hey, this thing is taking shape, and this people, the workers, which was because Roman Empire was fed by slave labor, and the enslaved were the ones who got together, and at the beginning they started being prosecuted, burned at the stake and stuff, which, by the way, Paul was one of the ones who, a Jewish guy, rounded up the Christians and gave them to the Romans to burn at the Colosseum or fight lions and beasts and stuff like that for their shows. So they saw the writing, constantly saw the writing on the wall and say, well, if this thing says that their kingdom is not here, that they're going to get a price after they die, that's a good calm down tactic to calm them down. I don't want them, I need their slave labor, so I'm going to convert to them. So he converts, makes up a story, and all of a sudden Christianity is the official religion of the Roman Empire. So he commissions the different books or writings that are in the Bible. So it's nothing but a compendium of plagiarized writings put together by Roman politicians. And so you see, the entire thing was made up. All of it. They made it all up. So here we are 2024 years later after the so-called birth of Jesus Christ. And if you look at what it says there, if you look at who this character, Jehovah or God or Yahweh or whoever you call him, that's the main character of the Bible. If you look at who his favorite humans are, they're pieces of shit. They're really evil motherfuckers. They're murderous, philandering, backstabbing pieces of shit. David, he sent the husband of the woman he had the hots for to get killed in the battlefront so he could keep the woman. That was God's favorite. So if you extrapolate that to now, to people who have been indoctrinated in that mythology, it's easy, because they're convinced that, first of all, this deity exists, and this deity picks the rulers or the presidents or whoever, the leaders of nations. So it doesn't, back in the day, his favorites were David, who did fucked up shit, Saul, who carried out the genocide of the Amalekites under the orders of this God called Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? So they're already indoctrinating and accepting, oh yeah, he's fucked up, he rapes women, or he doesn't. Well, if he did, well, that's God's business. He picks it, and he says he loves God, and he takes pictures with Bibles. Shit, he sells Bible for $200. Is it $200 or $60? Whatever it is he's selling them for. He's a Christian, and he believes in prayer and all that stuff, So they're already indoctrinated. So it's not a sin for them to vote for a piece of shit like Donald Trump. It really isn't, because it's ordained by their God. Their God has chosen really fucked up people in the past. As a matter of fact, those are his favorite. So who am I to question God, right? I'm going to vote for the man. That's how it went. That's exactly how it went. So for those of you who don't believe that religion is the dominating factor in this society, you're wrong. They just look at their paintings. They're so racist that they believe that there's a blonde guy with Caucasian features, thin nose, Caucasian features, blue eyed, white, and that was Jesus. That's their Jesus. It's not the guy who looks like Hamed at the convenience store or at the bank or at the dealership or at the law school, a law office or whatever. It's not Hamed. It's Mike. It's not Hamed. It's Mike. It's not Leroy. It's Mike. You see what I'm saying? It's not Mike. I'm just saying, picking up a name that's predominantly used by white people in the United States. You see? So, all this, it doesn't matter what he does. It didn't matter. Because first of all, it's a religious death cult. If he told them not to wear a mask and die, that's exactly what they did. They wouldn't do it. They did it. I have family members who belong to that cult that refuse to wear a mask, refuse to take precautions, refuse to get a shot, and they died. They're dead from COVID. And they denied dying from COVID. They died from something else, according to their fellow cult members. These are the same people who pressed and pushed against distancing, social distancing, against masks, against all the things that we try to do to stop the spread of the virus, because they believed that they had a right to go assemble in a church like sardines without mask on in the middle of a pandemic, and that their God was going to protect them. Hey, you saw it. You saw it. Shit, Herman Cain died from COVID because he refused to go and listen to the advice of the professionals. Now he's talking about, see, they believe that they have superpowers. Praying is a superpower. They believe, according to them. And that was a time I believed that too. They told me that, I believed it. Okay. I actually tried it. Okay, it doesn't work. So they believe that they can have communication with telepathic conversations with imaginary characters in disguise, and that character is going to do what they asked them to do down here on Earth. Be it win the election, be it cure cancer, be it give them money, be it etc., etc. You don't have a superpower. The superpower that's being exercised is the one being exercised on you by the leaders. And they all want one thing: control. And people say, well, how do you mean? It's like, think about what this guy did, and nobody gave a shit. They actually, more of them voted for it. He was mimicking somebody giving a blowjob. Or like 3 days before in front of the planet, because everybody's watching his rallies. All right, he did openly, and the presidential debate thinks, says that the Haitians are eating cats and dogs, and the rest of the lies calling. That was their platform. Their platform, his strong, was racism. Horrendous racist lies. And that made more people vote for him because they demonized the immigrants. By the way, he's an immigrant. His grandpa was from Austria. Got kicked out of Austria because he dodged the draft. He was a pimp. He ran whorehouses. And so, now what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen now? First of all, if he follows through on this mass deportation thing, the United States is fucked. Not the immigrants. Yeah, they're going to go back and they'll figure something out eventually, but they're going to go somewhere else. So, what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's not going to happen. What's not going to happen is these kids that are non-immigrants around here, they're not going to get on a roof and build a roof on a house. They're not going to all of a sudden build, do drywall, sheetrock. All of a sudden, they're not going to do carpentry. All of a sudden, they're not going to do cement, mixing cement, heavy labor, landscaping. They're not going to all of a sudden, become dishwashers. They're not going to all of a sudden paint houses and, do all the heavy. They're not going to all of a sudden go clean toilets and clean hotel rooms. Be cooks for $12 an hour. Hell, for 15. Shit, for $20 an hour, they won't do it. So what's going to happen? You think you got inflation now? God forbid they follow through on that mass depreciation thing. Who you think is going to pick up the fruit? People say, "Oh, we'll import it." Good luck trying to get tomatoes over here in season and last. It doesn't work like that, And then what do you think happens with all the money that people spend? They make it to spend it. They don't send that all back. They got to live somewhere. They got to have a car. They have an insurance. They spend a gazillion. And they pay taxes. And not only they pay taxes on somebody else's Social Security. A lot of these people, the undocumented ones I'm talking about, they're never going to get that money. Okay, they're working for somebody else's Social Security. So instead of paying $2 for a pound for a tomato, you get ready to pay for like 10. So that burger you're eating, and it costing you $9 or something like that, get ready for it to be $25. The house you're buying, if it costs $15 an hour, it's going to cost $45 an hour. So instead of $300,000, it's going to be $1 million. So that hotel room that gets serviced by Maria and her crew from Venezuela, that they can get away cheap labor from them. It's going to be $300 a night. Because all of a sudden first of all, they're not going to find enough people. So that type of jump and disastrous upheaval of the service economy, you can't do it overnight. And you can't never do it. No one is going to do those jobs. No one is going to. The fruit's going to rot. It's already rotten on the floor. Imagine if you get those people out. So, this business of there'll be more jobs for Americans. America is a continent. America, everybody who lives from Alaska from Canada to Patagonia, it's an American, and including the continental shelf that includes the Caribbean and stuff. So you're not going to have industry. Who do you think is going to run the few factory jobs we have? People ain't going to go in there for run a machine all day for $14 an hour. It's not happening. It's not happening. They think it's like kicking people out. The people who do the cheap stuff here, they're going to open up jobs for people that are not immigrants. You clearly don't know how the economy works. Clearly. So if you want to see a catastrophe, a financial catastrophe, go ahead, kick them all out. You'll see what happens. It's not going to go like you think it's going to go. It's not.